Good morning, everyone. I love all the voices and the joy that's filling this room right now. Come on in for service. Pardon? Closer to the mic. Hello, I'm used to having my Madonna mic. Good morning and welcome to Unity, spirituality with open hearts and open minds. I'm so thrilled you're all here on this absolutely beautiful day, and we have an amazing service ahead of us. I am so thrilled. Our very beloved and Port Townsendite Lisa Firestone, her mother lives here, so this is one of her homes. Lisa Firestone is back with us today. And Rhonda's going to do an introduction in a minute to just catch you up on who she is for those of you who she's new for. She would do music for us some when we were doing Zoom online during the pandemic. And so she's in town visiting. So she's going to be doing music and a message and the meditation today, all woven together. So I promise you're in for a treat. We're going to begin by lighting the Christ candle here, and those of you at home on Zoom, get your candles ready as well. And Lisa will lead us in singing, "Come Light, Light of God."
If I remember the words.
Light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. Come light, light of God, give light to creation, enlighten our hearts and remain with your world. And now Rhonda.
Hello, everyone. Most of you recognize me. I'm Rhonda Hall, and I've been a member of our community since Lisa first joined us over at Masonic. Matter of fact, I think it was just a couple of weeks before Pam officially came on board there when we would do church in a box. And I want you to know that Lisa is an established and celebrated singer-songwriter who also is a dear friend of our mutual friend Janice Stanfield, who has come often to be a part of our community here. I first experienced Lisa's music when we were at the Masonic, and she has just shown up as a constant person who blesses us here when she's in town. Life comes with surprises and detours. Death and dying and loss and grief and illness are all just a chronic part of life that we resist like crazy. But these circumstances aren't here to make life miserable, but to retrain our eyes to see the beauty in life even when it gets really messy. And so Lisa bumped into one of those experiences in 2020. Recurring brain cancer that required multiple surgeries forced her re-examination of life, how to heal from trauma, identifying what matters, and how best to live life forward. Consequently, she began a journey of self-care, deepening her spiritual devotion through meditation and prayer, 12-step recovery, and the unique clarity of nonviolent communication. Lisa is not only a talented singer-songwriter, but an amazing human being who has so much to offer us today. So no pressure, Lisa, but I trust that what you share with us today will be worth missing an hour of this precious sunlight that's out there today. So with a very tender and grateful heart, I welcome you back to Unity and I'm open for everything you share with us today.
Thank you, Rhonda. Now this song has new meaning. Yeah, I think you know this. I am home. I am home. I have traveled far along this road, and now I'm home. Shalom, shalom. In the heart of God, I am home. I feel a little tear in my eye. Thank you for that beautiful, warm welcome. I thought I'd do some songs y'all know today. Oh, and you are welcome to sing along. I think you've got the lyrics. Probably don't need them. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the rain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's good to hear your voices. Thank you for singing. Do you all know Daniel Namad? A little bit? So this one is easy enough to sing along. If you haven't heard it, I'll just sing it once through. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Last verse. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. Thank you. Some familiar.
Wow, it's good to have you back, Lisa. Thank you so much. So today we're going to talk about healing, and as I thought about that, looking at the title of the song, healing comes in many forms. There's physical healing, there's healing of the heart, there's healing of the mind, there's healing of the soul or the spirit, and then there's holistic healing, bringing it all together. In Unity, we are taught to pray from God, not to God. That is, internally, the power within us to heal is where we gather our strength. And that is, we pray through that positive prayer, affirming that life is bountiful and cleansing and doing all the things it needs to do to heal my mind, body, heart, and soul. There's a saying that I have on my wall that says, a healer is not someone you go to for healing. A healer is someone who helps you find the way within you from your own ability to heal. That's what the prayer chaplains do when we are on duty, is we don't do anything other than to reaffirm the power and the presence within each one of us to do our healing, to mend whatever it is, physically, mentally, relationships, all those kinds of things. And it's right here, right there. And before I read the daily word, yesterday's daily word, healing. My healing is already within me. The presence of God within me is mine to draw upon as a powerful resource. For me, one of the tricks to all that is to put myself in that place while in the midst of outer conditions which say 180 degrees otherwise. And that's the part that I think we're going to talk about today, is how do we reframe whatever it is on the outer side to find that place where the healing can fully come forward. And as we get ready for the daily word today, which is release, it reminds me of a saying from Lao Tzu. If you're depressed, you are thinking about yesterday. If you're anxious, you're thinking about tomorrow. If you're at peace, you're living in the moment, at the present. And today's daily word is release. The releasing of the past, I make room for the future. My life experiences have provided me with many gifts, from joyous to painful. I have taken something from each one, a nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace. That has helped me evolve into the person that I am standing before you this day. I am always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessing while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret and do not dwell on things that I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and to create beautiful, lasting memories. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. From Ecclesiastes, a time to seek, a time to loss, a time to keep, and a time to throw away. Releasing the past, I make room for my future.
Oh, that's beautiful. Makes me want to.
Shift from the daily word into the wonderful blessings that Lisa will share. I wanted to take just a moment for us to unite as a community of faith, as kindred souls, as Anam Cara, and to take a moment of prayer together. So just settle in. A wonderful meditation is coming, but this is a moment of prayer for each of you, for this community of faith, for our greater community, our nation, and our world and beyond. Just take a moment and allow yourself to become fully present for all the gifts that are yours during this service. Mother Earth beneath your feet, grounding you in presence. Father Sky above your head, reminding you of the shining presence ever with you and all around the beauty of creation and this spiritual family. Bring yourself exactly as you are, your life exactly as it is. And just silently unite our hearts as one as we uplift our prayers together on the wings of grace and spirit, knowing the unfoldings of these prayers has already begun. The setting of the intention lit the light, and its radiance will shine forth in amazing ways that we will celebrate together. We unite with all of those who pray for peace all around the world, and we hold together all of the prayers entrusted to our High Watch prayer chaplains. We are of one accord, one in spirit, honoring our diversity and celebrating our oneness. And so, as a blessing for you to go forth into this week, Psalm 91 from Nancy Merrill's Psalms for Praying. And this one was the one that came so clearly as a gift not only to all of you, but as a gift to and from Lisa, for this holds the essence of her beautiful spirit. Those who dwell in the shelter of infinite light, who abide in the wings of infinite love, will raise their voices in praise. My refuge and my strength, in you alone will I trust. For you deliver me from the webs of fear and illusion, from all that separates and divides. You protect me as an eagle shields its young, Your faithfulness is sure like an arrow set upon the mark. I will not fear the shadows of the night, nor the confusion that comes by day, nor the dreams that awaken me for sleep, nor the daily changes that life brings. Though 1,000 may deride this radical trust, 10,000 laugh as I seek to do your will, yet will I surrender myself to you, abandoning myself into your hands without reserve. For you have sent your angels to watch over me, to guide me in all my ways. On their hands they will bear me up, lest I dash my foot against a stone. Though I walk among those who roar like a lion, or as stealthy as the adder, in your strength I will endure. And the divine response, because you cleave to me in love, I will deliver you. I will protect you who call upon my name. When you call to me, I will answer you. I will be with you in times of trouble. I will rescue you so that you will know my peace. All through the years will I dwell in your heart as loving companion presence forever. All through the years will I dwell in your heart as loving companion presence forever. So let this beautiful psalm wrap itself around every level of being, body, mind, heart, and soul, as you open to embrace the gifts of life that you are here to give and to receive, knowing you are doing it with a blessing of Spirit and the grace of the divine and the infinite love of Father and Mother God. For this we are deeply grateful. Oh, and we take a breath and open our eyes and let this sacred space continue with the voice of our beloved Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Pam, and for the beautiful introduction, Rhonda. Everything that I wanted to touch on, it was just touched on. So now we just, I guess, will expand. There's a 12-step prayer called Just for Today. And one of the parts of this prayer says, just for today, I will be unafraid to enjoy what's beautiful and to believe as I give to the world, so will the world give to me. And I used this prayer considerably through some difficult times, through the pandemic and beyond. And out of this came this beautiful song I wrote with my now roommate, Janice Stanfield. You may know. This is called Unafraid. When I'm afraid to live and I'm afraid to die, afraid to love with all my heart because it makes me cry, I will surrender what I cannot change so I can face each new day unafraid. Unafraid. Oh, unafraid. When I'm afraid of truth, well, it leads to understanding. When I'm afraid of sorrow, it keeps my heart expanding. My life's a patchwork quilt, tattered, worn, and frayed. and I'm making peace with every memory made. And wrapped inside it, I feel unafraid, 'cause I live in love and I give from love, and it fills my cup unafraid. I live in love, I'm unafraid, 'cause I live in love and I give from love, and it fills my cup unafraid, unafraid. Come this far on my own. The love that I let in sustained me when I felt alone. We trust what our heart tells us, or we trust what others say, and either way regret often catches up to us one day. For every risk I took and every price I paid, well, looking back, I see the hand of grace. So I take it and I move on, unafraid, 'cause I live in love and I give from love, and it fills my cup, unafraid, 'cause I live in love. I am unafraid, 'cause I live in love and I give from love, and it fills my cup, unafraid, unafraid. 'Cause heaven knows I've surrendered and prayed, so I'll go where I'm going, unafraid. Oh yes, I'm unafraid. It's good to see you. When I put these on, I won't be able to. So I guess I can do that thing my grandmother did, kind of keep them on my nose. Thank you so much for having me. And that beautiful introduction, Rhonda. Thank you. Rhonda's actually been with me through some pretty challenging times, and so she requested that I do this song that Jana and I wrote. And it kind of sets up this talk. I thought about, and actually let me share something about me. I've been a music director for 25 years, and I have delivered messages. I've given musical messages where I did song after song with little ties, and this is the first time I've actually stood in front of an audience and a congregation and given a message. So y'all have to give me some honest, critical feedback today. So I'm really grateful and honored to be here. Thank you. And so a little bit about myself. I wanted to talk, I prayed about this. I thought, what can I share that would be valuable for this group? And what really came to me was just tell the truth and tell your story. Because in and through that, I've had so many incredible blessings. And I've been gifted new eyes to see, and a new heart and a new way of seeing the world. And a lot of it has come through some difficult experiences that led to some incredible understandings and this understanding and this way of living in the world, as David mentioned, living present in the moment right now, today, without the fear and regret of the past or anxiety of the future, but really being in this moment. So a little, just a little thing about me. I'm from California, and I've always lived a very passionate life. I have been a music director, as I mentioned, 25 years, raised 2 children, and it's just, my life was so full. And so when this story begins is, you may even have seen me in the last year or two when I was zooming in as a music director. Were any of you on the call at that time? Okay, so you probably remember I was bald at the time. Yeah, and you know, that's something that we do is we go through these journeys, and at that time I had just finished radiation, didn't have much hair, so this is a real celebration for me. And I had just completed at that point a 6-year jaunt with brain cancer. And I'll tell you, it was never something that I could have anticipated or that I would have expected that I was going to have. But that's just the way life is sometimes, isn't it? So what I wanted to share about this story was not so much about what happened, because these things happen. I had a first incident in 2015, and they opened my brain and removed it. And I'm like, this is great, I'm good. They wanted to do some radiation. I said, no, thank you. I've got this. Me and my creator, I've got this, right? I'm going to live right and do all the things that I do and change and I really had that intention. But that's just not the way God works sometimes. There's things that I can't see, and there's things that my soul doesn't understand. So when I was re-diagnosed with that in 2019, I again had the option. I had it removed. And this time I decided to agree to this radiation process. And what that did kind of took me off guard, because that changed how I experienced my body. So, and I'm thinking, it was kind of, I don't know if any of you know Austin Powers. Okay, do you remember like laser? You remember this thing, the mini-me? So this thing that was treating me was like the laser. It looked like something from NASA, and it was this huge machine. It would come down and it would just blip, and for 30 visits, I went back, and that little thing cleared the area so that I would not have any recurrence. And I will tell you, today, I am currently cancer-free, so I'm grateful that I'm here. Thank you. And it is a grace of medicine and prayer and so many things. But what happened after that, and when I started to experience these changes, I wasn't prepared for it, and I went into a state of shock and grief. It changed how I felt in my body. I kind of felt like split in two. And so I went into a period, what I would just call a descent. And I had my prayer, but I would wake up every morning and I just was like, what is going on? I guess you could call it a dark night of the soul. I had survived cancer, but I hated my life. And it's hard to say that, but it's true. And I can only help myself or help you if I tell the truth. And I hated my life. So what else? Another thing that happened is I was having some seizures. I was having these seizures like every week. And I was really terrified as I noticed that writing and reading, everything got difficult. And I was like, what's going on? Who is this new Lisa? So I kind of got in an icky place. Like, friends fell away. They didn't know who I was anymore. Like, who is this girl? We know this person, and now she's quiet and introverted and dark and gloomy and what's going on? This is someone that we've always turned to for spiritual support. And I was here in some kind of dissent. And I recognized that whatever I was doing, and I was praying, but something was not connecting. Something was not working. And it was just like David said, this is the ultimate challenge of prayer, that we learn how to hold and know the truth even when we're feeling so differently. And my body did not want to let me forget that my body was here experiencing this. And it was screaming at me, and I was trying to hold the truth, but I would wake up and my body would speak and go, I'm going to remind you of what's real right now. And I'm like, no. So I got in this conflict. And it was several months before I finally realized I'm hit a wall. I can't do this anymore. I've got to find something. And I, at this point, I didn't understand that what was happening was there were all these dots. In fact, I think it was Steve Jobs that says, pay attention to the things that come up in your life. Your life will allow you to connect the dots of what matters and what's important to you. And one of the things that I had done is I had written songs. And I had cast them aside. I just didn't have enough joy or presence. I couldn't find any joy in it. So I went through one night and I was going through this binder of songs, and I started to notice something unusual, that the lyrics that I had written 20 years ago were speaking to me right now. I get a little emotional thinking of this, because it was as though 20 years ago, the person that was writing those songs was writing it for the 50-something-year-old me that was going to go through this challenge. And some of those words were, you say I'm ready, that I have all that I need. I don't feel ready, won't you explain what you mean? And there was one called, Lord, make me who you would have me be. And there was one that said, Spirit is all there is, the power of love in each and every one of us. And there was even one that said, you heal me when I'm feeling alone. You heal me and you bring my heart back home. So I took it as a sign. And I said, okay, I'm going to pay attention. And in that moment, I did something that, if you're familiar with alcoholism or addiction or any of the 12-step programs, I did what they do in that moment. And I said, okay, I'm gonna totally surrender my life. I'm going to totally surrender my life and my will to my higher power. And I had been doing my work, but I hadn't surrendered. I kind of thought that I could do it all. So I was like, like I was that first surgery, like, oh, I got this. I had to surrender and just know, in like that beautiful reading of a release, there's a higher power that is conducting how this is going to go for me. So the beautiful thing that I noticed too was that there were themes in these songs, and the theme was surrender and warmth and deep compassion. And I don't know, are there any people in this room who like rescue tortoises from the road or baby birds? Okay, I know I got one. Okay, how many of you, like, be honest, how many of you have rescued a small critter in the last 5 years? Okay, see, that's like half the room. So what has us do that? We can make a difference to this little thing. Maybe nature takes it, maybe not. But we can do our part, right? So that's who I know I am, and I always was at the core. That's who I was. And I was doing that in every way for everyone but myself. So, so there's a beautiful thing, and you've probably heard this in some way or form, that we all have opportunities disguised as impossible situations. Do we not? Has anyone had one of those lately, like in the last few years? Okay, and I know Glenn has. And so one of the things that I had always recognized in my life that I was willing to see things as challenge, as a, that if I could see them as a challenge, that I could draw the energy of hope, and that I would meet these needs and see it as an opportunity. And this was just like, I guess my soul wanted the ultimate opportunity. And I know some of you have had those too, right, Glenn? So, so what I recognized when I turned my life over is I had 3 miracles happen. And each thing was one of those dot connecting things, like Steve Jobs says, just pay attention. God is doing for me what I could not do for myself. And I decided I was going to do my part. I was going to get more fervent in my prayer and meditation. And I was going to turn to others for help and support. So the first thing that I recognized was there was a program, and I guess some of you, not everyone likes him, but are you familiar with Joe Dispenza? Okay, anyone been to any of his workshops? Oh my goodness. Okay, so Joe Dispenza really puts the science into meditation, and he describes something about it that is so remarkable that I had never heard, which is simply that when we meditate, we actually entrain our brain to become, what happens is he does all this research. He puts those things on your head, like they do in the movies, and studies this. And he's been doing this since he healed. Now, if you're not familiar with Joe Dispenza, he had an injury in his 20s that would have paralyzed him. And he was told he couldn't walk again. And rather than get surgery and do things, he used meditation. And he said, I'm going to practice metaphysics to its core. And I want to heal. And he healed. And now he leads these seminars for thousands of people. But he loves the science, and he brings the science into meditation. And what he discovered is, when you see a flock of birds and they're flying and they all turn at the same time, or a school of fish and they all swim together at the same place, this is what the brain does when we meditate. It entrains. So we have all these chaotic brain waves, and they start to become like this. And so I decided, there's people having healings. And, it's not always gentle. Sometimes it sounds kind of militant, but I'm going to try this. And I signed up and I attended a Joe Dispenza thing. And I started to experience, wow. I guess what happens is when we free our body of all that chaotic brain stuff that our brain likes to do, overthinking, there's this surge of energy that's available for healing. And that's the nuts and bolts of it. So I got in the room with thousands of people and I did this. And I started this practice. And after I attended that, I had no more seizures. I was 7 months ago. So that's a good news. The other thing, and I still practice those meditations, although they're very different from my quiet meditations. And I like to alter it. Does anyone else practice them still? Okay. I would love to know if anyone else has had some healings as a result of that. I would love to know your story afterwards. So the second thing that happened was I'd been gifted this coaching program, and being someone that has always wanted therapy but never felt good with therapy, I knew I needed something different. And what this life coaching does is it has us look at our life and move forward. So we ask questions about what matters to us, and we move forward into a future that we want. And I guess this is probably a fair spot to say, part of the injuries for my brain happened in the right hemisphere. So things that were used to be easy for me, like visualization and integrating the big picture, suddenly got very hard. I got really good at living in the moment, but not kind of moving into a future. So this life coaching came as a real blessing. But what really the best blessing came, and this was the third thing, that we were asked as coaches, what can you offer and teach other coaches? And I go into my, oh my gosh, imposter thing, like, oh gosh, no one's going to learn piano on Zoom, and what can I do? I actually have a history as a teacher, but I didn't know what I could offer. And then I remembered I've been studying nonviolent communication for 5 years. So are there any nonviolent communication people in here that have studied it or practiced it? I see a couple nods. 2, 3. Okay, so nonviolent communication has this beautiful principle that can change how we see the world, especially in a world where there's a lot of judgment. So what it does is it allows us to recognize that our basic human needs are all the same. And that when I see you, if I have a judgment, if you're not behaving the way I like, and I have a judgment about it, it's telling me something about myself. And what is it telling? There's something here vulnerable in me. I have a need that I need to meet that you're not responsible for. It's up to me to meet that need. It might be a need for consideration. It might be a need for understanding or connection or kindness. But I decided I was going to offer this. So I began teaching the course. And what do they say? If you want to learn something, any of you had that experience of learning something through teaching it? Okay, just a few. Okay, and so this was my gateway to self-compassion. And I realized what happened here was the missing piece of my prayer. Because what happened was the foundation for nonviolence means that no matter what's happening out in the world, I recognize internally my power to hold myself with love and care. And I got to be honest, I had forgotten how. Because there was a critic and an angry voice inside of me that was blaming myself still for this experience that I was having in this new body. So let me share a few things about this, because this is where the real juice is. What is compassion? Compassionate awareness is, I don't want to fix or change you. I simply want to invite you to be here, and I want to be present with you. I simply want to invite you to be here, and I want to be present with you. I don't want to fix you or change you. So hearing that, something clicked, and I realized I had been praying for change. And so I picked up this beautiful book by Robert Gonzalez called Reflections on Living Compassionately, and he says this: the pathway for healing is shifting from a disconnected thinking process to a full-bodied experience of our heart with unconditional acceptance and presence. And I heard that. I think Pam said it just as you are, unconditional acceptance. The work of compassion is to meet and welcome the obstructions that we put to this flow of love and life. Because it's a river flowing for all of us, isn't it? But we have these thinking patterns and they obstruct it, and we put little dams in the way. And this is so beautiful. When we meet the obstructions with curiosity and openness and warmth, we can begin to understand ourselves in new ways. So, acceptance. Oh, come back. Acceptance is, and here's another thing Gonzalez says. He says, there may be a part of you that wants change in some way that isn't okay with how you are right now. But my hope is that you realize you can become accepting and compassionate for that part of you, rather than trying to change it. The part of you, that part of you is nothing more than the yearning and the longing to flow back into that river of life. And on tenderness, in the heart of self-compassion, is a yearning for tenderness. We are all yearning to connect with this tenderness for ourselves, the way our Creator holds this tenderness for us. And so, I love this part. Paradoxically, when we feel truly accepted and loved for who we are just as we are, there is a natural unfolding of healing and growth. And it doesn't happen because we tried to heal and grow. It happens because of this unconditional self-acceptance that allows the natural outflowing of this life-loving energy. So now this may not be news for you, but something woke in me and I realized I had been praying for change without loving and accepting that part of me that was screaming for attention and screaming to be heard and known and accepted just as I was. There's this whole part of me. My soul is whole. I know that. But how can I let that in when I'm holding this blame? So I found this beautiful thing, and it's called self-compassion. And so I would love, now we're getting close to the hour, so what I'd like to do is invite you. I'd like to do a little meditation, and this meditation will be a little different from our usual meditations, because what I'd like to do is invite you into this somatic experience of nonviolence and this self-compassion. So are you all good with that? Okay. So if you will, just close your eyes. And I'll go ahead and just have the music ever so softly, Glenn. That would be great. So I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I'm not going to tell you how to feel. I just want to invite you to notice that you're grounded on the chair right now. that there's nothing here to solve and there's nothing to fix or do. Just notice and check in with yourself. And we'll start with the breath. Just what do you notice? Where in your body are you breathing? Where do you notice the movement of breath? And just as you breathe gently, notice, is there a part of your body now that is asking for attention? You might do a quick body scan. Is there a feeling? Sometimes it's a tension or a tingling. Just notice, is there a tightness? And now I want to invite you to just notice, is there a feeling inside that you would put words to? Maybe it's curiosity or relaxation, or maybe it's a little stress. It would be quite natural. Do you notice a tenseness or a sharpness? Or maybe something hollow? Just let your body tell you, and check in. Allow your body to speak. Maybe you don't feel anything. The only thing that matters is that you have the intention right now to connect with yourself. That your body is this infinite source of wisdom. And I would invite you now to notice if there's any tension in your forehead, just to release it. And just relax your jaw. Just notice the dropping in maybe your neck. There may be some tension there. Just relax that. And move down to your shoulders and your chest. What is your heart saying to you? Maybe it's soft or tense, or maybe it's bored. And just move down, continue to move your attention down into your stomach and your belly. And see if you can allow your belly to be soft. And bring your attention down all the way through your hips. Just check in with your hips and your thighs. Your knees and your calves, all the way down to your toes. And see if even sometimes wiggling your toes feels satisfying. So just ask yourself, do you need anything? Maybe it's play or connection, or maybe it's appreciation, or acknowledgement. Sometimes we need to be heard, or we need gentleness or kindness. And it's okay if you can't find a word for it, just notice what it is you need. And I want to invite you now to connect with the beauty of that need. That this is something beautiful. And you're a human being with this beautiful need. Can you find the appreciation that you want this beautiful thing? And your body has been your bridge to asking for that. It's okay if you don't know. And just one last time, let's check our breath. And it's time to slowly come back. And take your time as you come back to the room. You might move your fingers. Thank you, Glenn. So I want to invite you right now. This was a self-compassion meditation. I just want to check in. Do you feel different than you felt a few minutes ago when you started? And I'd be curious to know, if you feel a little bit different, would you raise your hand? Okay. This is helpful for me to know. So I learned that when I listened to my body instead of trying to make it go away, I had access to this beautiful bridge. This bridge that took me into my prayer with a new respect and love and tenderness. Because we are whole, and sometimes it's hard to feel that. But in this place of self-compassion, we can connect with what matters most and see the beauty in that. So I want to say this, and it looks like we're coming up on closing time. I'd like to close with a song, but before I do, I want to thank you for trusting me with this meditation and my first talk like this. And I want to invite you, the next time something is troubling you, to take that moment and go inside and ask the body, and let the body's wisdom point to the beauty of that need. And in that place, there's like a new platform from which prayer can be received and take off. It's like I don't have to fix or change anything. I can just receive you compassionately, empathetically, just as you are. This is the gift of nonviolence. This is the gift of empathy and compassion. This is the gift of Thich Nhat Hanh, and just what Reverend Pam was saying, just as you are. Thich Nhat Hanh said something beautiful. He said, "Waking up this morning, I smile. 24 brand new hours are before me. I vow to live fully in each moment and to look at all beings with eyes of compassion and understanding." I'm going to close with a little song, and then I'll invite Pam back up. So this song came as a part of my nonviolent process, and this understanding and realization that if we could just accept each other right where we are, without moralizing and trying to fix things, we would just never have another war. And I'm still hoping for a world where that's possible. So this is called Open Your Heart. And it also was inspired by the poem of Rumi, Out beyond fields of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Open your heart, I will meet you. Out beyond fields of right and wrong, holding a place where trust can greet you, and you are known. Open your heart, I'll receive it. Ecstasy, anger, joy, or pain, all of you met with no resistance, like the earth drinks the rain. There's no need to change, no need to hide your feelings. It's sacred space. Here where you're met with understanding and love's embrace. Open your heart, it's your needs matter. Allow me the honor to walk in your shoes. Here where it's safe to feel the fullness of your heart's truth. There's no need to change, no need to hide your feelings. It's sacred space. Here where the weight like fog is lifted, we're gifted grace. Open your heart, it's true, it's perfect. Cracks in the clouds, let light shine through. Here where it's safe, every misstep is just part of the journey to you, loving you. So sweet the release for your courage. Solid oaks grow in dirt and sky tears. All of your reaching broken branches are welcome here. All of you is welcome here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you on Zoom.
I'm going to get myself back in my body here. So this is a time in our service where we receive the offerings. So as we do here each week, we bless it. This blessing is really a statement about each one of us being part of a whole. So I use this blessing with my gift as a reminder of who and what I truly am. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And for all of that, I am truly grateful. I'm so blessed.
I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Sweet, sweet Spirit, Mother, Father, God, each of our journeys matter. We are intentionally here in this moment for a divine purpose, be it to tell our story or to give a helping hand or to acknowledge another or to plant a flower. It matters. So we receive these gifts knowing that and send them forward across our community and across the planet, acknowledging that each matters. All things matter. If we look at nature, how it all flows together and our part within it. So we send them forward that each individual may experience that, feel it, know it, and in doing so, create heaven on earth. And let us do that in our lifetime. And so it is. Amen. Okay, so we are into announcements now, Lisa. A transition to another plane.
I'm ready with that Karen Drucker when you're ready.
Hey, here we go. Just a minute. We'll be there. So announcements. There's a whole litany of things going on in the building. There's kirtans on the 2nd and 4th Tuesday, I believe. There's meditation almost every single day. And all of those groups are available for any of you or any of us just to drop in on. The website has all of those things going on. For us, as a unity, we are not doing classes this month, taking this month off. And but we are geared up for September. I'll tell you what, we got a lot of things going on. And one of the things coming up, I hear, is the Mystic, Into the Mystic. And we have a volunteer coordinator who's going to give us some information about that. No?
I just want to take a second to welcome Jan up. 7 years ago, I think now, In meditation, we needed to do an Into the Mystic Fair, where we really stood in our spiritual truth and shared our gifts and welcomed others to do that. And this year we weren't able to do it in June because we didn't have volunteer coordinators. And I just kept praying about it, and I just knew it somehow needed to happen and to evolve as well. And Karen King was having lunch, and she ran into Jan Jorgensen and Denise Clare, who love unity, have amazing spiritual gifts, and they said they would be willing to coordinate. And Jan Sprague and Beverly and I are working with them at this point. And I want to introduce you to Jan Jorgensen, who sometimes you meet someone and you instantly like them, and you also instantly love them as a soul sister, and you instantly feel the integrity of their spiritual gifts, and you admire them. And for me, Jan is one of those women. So it is my honor for you to meet Jan and to hear about our upcoming event. Oh, you've got
Is that a bit better? Thank you, Pam, and the feeling is mutual. I love this Unity Church already. I used to do music in hospice and in nursing homes, and one time a woman said, "You can't fool me, you're an angel." But then if she ate something that didn't agree with her at lunch, she'd say, "You can't fool me, you're the devil." You can't fool me. This church is anchoring the biggest new vibration in the Pacific Northwest. And I'm glad I found my home here. Spirit told me to bring my lyre today, and I said, now I know why. These beings, you are teaching people that it is safe to spread your wings, even in challenging times. So when her prayer went out to do the Mystic Fair, I said, I have met people who can envision the future and have beautiful intuitive gifts, and they've been called psychics and marginalized. We don't need more scientists. We don't need more MBAs. We need people speaking and living from their hearts. So we, in the Mystic Fair this year, are going to weave together what vibration and energy work is about. Thank you, Dispenza work. I taught at the Sound and Consciousness Institute, and I feel that this church, again, through this fair, can bring people in, not through the psychic fair, the mystic fair, but into the mist of the higher vibration that we're all seeking to go home. Okay, so on a practical level, we're going to have 12 readers. We're using the same template. I just tweaked this flyer we've used for years before. We have chairs except for someone chairing the vendors. We already have 3 vendors. We have everything kind of all set up, and I'll tell you why. Because the angels are stepping forward. Jan Sprague, Jan, where are you, has stepped forward, and she's championing the volunteer part. And she even figured out how many people we need in all the different areas. And I know that this is one of the most attended and well-attended and fun events. So this year, we're just bumping it up with intentionality to bring people into the mist of the Christed consciousness vibration. So please talk to us at the table after. Jan is taking sign-ups. I'm taking sign-ups for readers and energy healers, and she's taking sign-ups for all the different areas to make this a total success, not just for this church, but for this entire region and the world. Thank you.
And to follow up on that a little bit, next week, Karen King is going to do a two-part series next Sunday and the following Sunday on body-mind healing. I think we'll hear a little bit more about Joe along the way. Also, on the 24th, there's a Unitics on the Loose, I guess, a labyrinth adventure. So if you're interested in going to, is it Hawk Hill? Yeah. Hawk Hill. Or Halls Hill, excuse me, there you go, on Bainbridge Island. There'll be a group going to walk that labyrinth. And, okay, sign-up sheets on the table in the back. By the way, while I'm up here blabbering, for you at home, if you have a birthday this month, please put it in the chat box so we're able to celebrate with you. And those of you that have a birthday this month that are in the congregation, we're going to celebrate that in a second. Anyway, if you had we're talking about labyrinth, Unity Village has just finishing up an amazing labyrinth, and you can go on the website and see this thing. I was over there a year ago, well, last March, and the gentleman that was building it, it was a 2-year process. And every single stone he hand cut, he and his wife, and it was just an incredible thing. And he took out, I don't know, a good hour of his time and talked with me about what he was doing, how he was doing it, and how all the rosettes how it all fits together. And I can understand why it's taken him a couple of years, quite frankly. It is just an amazing thing. So anyway, and hopefully, maybe next year when I go back, it'll be done and get to walk that labyrinth. So with that, if you have a August birthday, raise your hand. On August anniversary as well. Well, let's come here in the middle here, and we'll see if we can't figure out what to do with that. Come on in the middle. I know, you get this look on your face like, what's he going to do? Sing to you, of course. Sure, let's go ahead and go and make our circle. That's why everybody's standing around in a circle, right? I love when a plan comes together. No, I don't have one. Here we go. The face of God. Hold you in my arms. You are a part of me. The face of God.
of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
And as the love of God, we embrace. Okay, so as the light of God we shine, as the love of God we embrace, as the power of God we stand in truth, and as the presence of God we endeavor to express our divinity in all that we do and all that we are.
Well-groundedness.
Nice.